Okay, well, welcome everybody to the Eastridge Robotics Family Orientation for 2021. This meeting normally happens in person, and it's a nice big to-do where the kids all go to one room and the parents all go to another room and go through and answer questions. And this year is quite a bit different than what we've ever experienced as a team, and so we're going to be welcoming in the new parents and kind of give them an intro into what robotics is, what the errors are, and for our veteran families, talk a little bit about what this season is actually going to look like. And so, for those that don't know me, hi, my name is Jerome Gerber. And one of the things that we're also going to be highlighting this year is what kind of degrees people have coming from the robotics team. As you'll see, that there are dozens of careers that people go into that are participating on this team. My son just graduated last year and is starting an architecture program at Iowa State. So I've got a BA from St. Thomas in business and a master's in education. And tonight's agenda is going to be about the team, who the team leadership is, what the season schedule looks like, how the team gets organized, talking about the time commitment, how COVID-19 has impacted our organization, the team finances, how we're asking parents to help, uh, then details on registration, and we're going to finish up with the parent panel at the end with two existing parents and then one of an alumni parent. And so, first, for those that don't know, who haven't been a part of First Lego League or First Tech Challenge in middle schools, FIRST stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. It's a global organization, and that your students, our team, will be interacting with teams all across the world. The Edina team has a partnership with a team in Australia, and there's just so many relationships and fun things that can happen as a part of this as a global organization. And FIRST sponsors and promotes STEM by helping the team to put an organization together, build a robot, and compete in a skills competition. And a fun fact, there are actually more FIRST robotics teams in Minnesota than there are varsity hockey teams. And you'll hear a lot about the errors, and that stands for the Eastridge Robotics Ominous Raptors. 2021 season, I counted it out, looks to be season number lucky 13 for us. Something that's really important to know is that this is a student run organization that's 100% funded by sponsors and really focuses on building more than just building robots. Students can earn letters, and we are a part of the Minnesota State High School League. We're actually two-time state champion. We won the very first state championship for Eastridge, and we share our space with another FRC team, First Robotics competition team from our district, and the Fighting Calculators from the Math and Science Academy. They share our lab at Eastridge High School. Tracy Yang is our captain for this year. She is planning on pursuing biomedical engineering next year. And Tracy is our team captain, and our 2022 captain is Ria Barty. And now every year we have a captain and a co-captain, and so that helps with the continuity of leadership. So this year's business captain is Abby Tolbert, and next year's captain is Maddie Howard. And then our technical captain is Connor Wentine, and next year's captain is Ben Yang. Kerry Wentine is our lead mentor for this year, and he'll speak in just a moment to talk about kind of what the season entails. Brian Howard will be taking over that, I think, next season. I am the business mentor. Matt Thomas is going to be on for the parent panel. He's our CAD mentor. I see that we have Mikhail who is our, believe, software mentor, and we might have a few other mentors on. I don't see the whole list in front of me right now. And our faculty advisor is Dennis Ware from the Project Lead the Way instructing team at Eastridge. And so one of the first real big lessons that's really important for parents to understand is we are a year-round team. There's no just 3 months here and then we're done. This is a commitment that is all year round. And the preseason in a traditional season is September to December. What we would be doing right now is in a traditional year is we've done some recruitment and we've got a large recruiting class of people that are interested. We'd be having training courses in person. We'd be having, more CAD academies and CAD challenges, and we'd be doing a lot of in-person events called outreach, where we go out in the community and teach people about robotics and about STEM. The build season is from January to February. That's where we actually have 7 weeks to design, build, and program a functioning robot. The competition season is from March until May. In a traditional year, we attend 2 regional events. And those are, one of them is always at the University of Minnesota, and then one may be in Duluth. We've been to Fargo. We went to actually Milwaukee a couple of years. If we are lucky enough to earn the chance, there's a world's competition, an event that's in Detroit, if we earn the chance to go. And then there's the state championship that's usually in May, if we earn the right to go. And then the off season for the team is May to August, where we do a lot of summer outreach. We do training, boot camps, classes. We have a STEM class that we offer in the community. And then we do leadership training and leadership planning. So I'm going to invite Carrie in to take a few moments to speak and tell us what the 2021 season will look like.
Yeah. Hey, thanks everybody. Pleasure to meet those that I've never had a chance to meet. But based on the situation that we're all in at this time, there are no traditional in-person competition events being planned by FIRST. So as Jerome had noted, we'd normally be signing up for a couple of events that we wanted to go participate in with, 50 to 60 other teams. Those are very large events. They're not scheduling those at this time due to COVID and the size of gathering requirements in various states, et cetera. So that's the situation we find ourselves in, along with everybody else in the world. Should there be competitions, should we get a handle on COVID, vaccine, et cetera, should there be events? They've already announced that the 2020 game, so last year's game and last year's robot, will be utilized for those competitions. So this year, building a robot from scratch and so forth probably won't happen. We will hopefully be able to tweak on the existing robot to do some things with that. In lieu of in-person large competitions, what they have announced is that they're going to still have 3 main competition opportunities for the teams to try to keep everybody still engaged. One of them will be a game design challenge. And that's just like what it sounds like. Those of you who have been around robotics know that the game changes every year, and the robot and everything about it changes every year and changes dramatically. So what they're doing is they're going to set up a competition for teams to truly design the next game, right, or a future game. With that will come a lot of documentation, likely some visuals, etc., and all of that will be announced in great detail at the kickoff on January 9th for the season. The second challenge that they're putting out there for teams to participate in this year is what they're calling infinite recharge at home. To the best that we have seen details so far, this will involve likely videotaping your robot doing the challenges involved with last year's game. And then they're going to somehow judge that. So again, not a lot of details, but it looks to be a situation where you find a place to drive your robot. They're saying it will only take about half a field, not a full field, etc., and they won't need all the field elements as either. So hard to vision exactly what that one's going to look like, but that's another challenge that will be there for the team this year should we choose to engage in that. And then the third competition is kind of a more holistic look at what I would call science and the challenge to evolve and think outside the box. They're calling it the first innovation challenge. And again, that's probably the one that has the least information out right now, but they're going to be asking teams to identify what they consider a real world problem and then, come up with a way to fix it, right? So again, likely to be a lot of research, documentation, putting together a presentation, likely for all of these. So there's a lot of softer skills that will be involved this year, which I think is kind of exciting. It's not all about turning wrenches and building a robot, right? There's a lot of the softer skills, presentation skills, designing presentations, and video is likely as well. So those are the three challenges that they have announced that will be explained in more detail at the kickoff. There will also be a number of traditional submitted awards for this year. Be the Chairman's Award, the Dean's List, and the Woody Flowers Awards. We'll get into more of those at kickoff. And again, for those of you that want to read what FIRST has officially put out, you can go to firstinspires.org, and there'll be a tab in there or a link in their site to the 2021 season. And it'll talk 5 or 6 pages on what I just talked about for 2 minutes, with the details they've given us so far, with a lot more to come. So it'll be a little bit different year this year, but again, we hope to keep the team excited and keep our momentum and our success going.
So Kerry, how long have you been a part of the team?
I've been a part of the team about 8 years now. I've had two kids roll through the team. The first child was the software lead for 3 years, and Connor is currently going to be a senior this year, and he's been more on the build side of things. He's the technical captain last year and this year.
And what's your oldest son studying in college?
Computer engineering at the University of Minnesota.
All right, fantastic.
And a little bit about me too. I have a business background, so I have a BS in accounting, an MBA in finance and strategic management. I'm a CPA, so kind of more of the business side of things. But I'm an engineer wannabe. I've known that my whole life. Can't stop or can't pass by a show where they're building a cool building or building the Hoover Dam, those type of things. And it's always been a huge passion of mine. I got 2 kids that love it, so it's great.
And so Kerry's just been a phenomenal contributor for all those years, and I am the exact opposite of a wannabe engineer. They don't let me touch the tools, so always struggles happen. So let's talk about COVID-19. The virus did not stop our team, and some of the activities that we've had since the shutdown is first that we had purchased 5 3D printers, and we built 1,020 face shields, the frames, and 2,152 ear savers that were all donated to first responders in the area. So we had a lot of people building those all summer long. Internal to 3130, we continue to refine the robot that we built for the 2020 season because we get to use it again. And we're working on a very extensive COVID safety plan. There'll be more to come with that later. And then on an outreach perspective, we had several South Washington Cares events and other events collecting food to support Minneapolis families that were impacted by the riots. So our team was doing some things. We called it kind of robot light as we went through because we did what we could throughout the season. And so let's talk about what it takes to put a team together. I like to use this phrase, it takes a village to build the robot. And these are the types of roles that we need to fill each year. And this year is no different. And some of the rookie students who are interested in the team learned about this last week. But we have technical roles, which includes computer aided design, electronics. We have a big safety responsibility, scouting, which is a strategy and research and data management. It's heavily big data. We have software and programming and coding, and then we have the robot fabrication. On the business side, we compete for awards, design awards, leadership awards, all sorts of effort that to recognize people on our team and our contributions in the community. Uh, our our success as a team also comes from our ability to communicate to others what we do. And that's where our media and imagery team is critically important in helping taking photos and press releases and our website. Ria Barty, who's leading media and imagery this year, also just did a new website for us. So check us out online. It's a beautiful site. Our outreach team and Maddie Howard, who leads the outreach team, has done a phenomenal job of building up a coalition of I Maddie, how many teams are in the Outreach Alliance? Or
20.
20. So we've got 20 other high school teams who are interested in partnering with us on events in the community here in the future. We've got recruitment and, of course, everything. It comes down to sponsorships and fundraising because we need money to make this robot tool. And so not only do we need students to fill these roles, but we also need parents' expertise to be able to help us in some of these roles. And I could have really used some expertise on web management to help Ria with the website, because having to change domains and all those things was way above my pay grade. Time commitment. We talked about this being a year-round team and a year-round group, but that doesn't mean that we're expecting your student to be 24/7 with the team. 3130 looks for students who will make robots an integral part of their high school experience with their commitment, their enthusiasm, a positive attitude, and an openness to opportunities to learn. All team members are expected to attend the team training sessions and general team meetings. And those are often once every 2 weeks or 3 weeks as they go through. And then sub-team meetings that they're interested in joining. All of those different categories that we're looking for people all represent sub-teams. And so if your student is interested in being on CAD, the CAD sub-team will be meeting quite often. And so if they want to join CAD, they should be a part of those meetings. And then there's a minimum of 3 to 5 outreach events that we'd like members to join each year and attend and be a part of. There's always something happening. The minimum requirements for someone who's interested in being a part of the team is typically 2 to 3 hours a week in everything but the build season. And in the build season, it's about 6 to 10 hours a week. So 2-3 nights, maybe a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning in the shop to help build things. There is not an expectation that students attend every day, but there will be plenty of students that will want to. And we had, my son, I will say again, who graduated this past year, he started out 2 nights a week in his freshman year. And his buddy, though, as in freshman year, spent 4 nights a week and lettered actually, and got an academic letter or not a group letter as a freshman. And so the robotics team looks to have your student choose their own schedule and participate at the level that they want to participate. Classes always come first. We have team leaders and team members that are in band, in debate, on the swim team, on other sporting teams as well. So we recognize that your students will want to do multiple things, and that's absolutely okay. They just need to tell us when they're going to be there, and we expect them to be there when they tell us. So COVID-19, this is the tricky part. And we've got some policies that everybody must follow at all times. So the official policy for the AIRS COVID plan will be distributed once it's been approved by the school administration. But some of the highlights of that will include mandatory reporting of positive 19 tests for any team member or mentor. There will be personal protective equipment that will be required at all times in the facility. We will maintain facility cleaning schedules and measures. Everyone will have their temperature checked before they come in. We'll have a whole lot of cleaning supplies that are outlined. And then we're going to be having mandatory safety conversations. It may only be a 10-minute Zoom or 15-minute Zoom, but every week we'll be talking about safety to ensure that there are no issues as we go along.
You were slide 22.
Okay, thanks for muting there. Okay, so the students and guardians and mentors will all need to certify that they read and understand what our safety policy is when we distribute that. So the team finance, it's amazing how much a robot costs. And a normal season for the robotics team requires a budget of nearly $30,000. And this is all raised by sponsors and grants that we receive. There are absolutely no expenses that are covered by Eastridge or District 833. Our budget is overseen by multiple mentors and that are all volunteers. The team travel and going to events is actually the majority of what the expense is. To register for an event, it costs the team $5,000, I believe, for the first event. And those are all typically contributed by one of our title sponsors. 3M, I think, pays for a lot of our memberships. Students are required to pay for their own travel. And the local event usually costs us nothing besides food when we're there. And the outstate event typically is, depending on the student's level of involvement on the team, could be 1 night, 2 nights, or 3 nights in a hotel room. Typically, the multi-nights are veteran team members that have a role in the actual competition, and they're there early doing setup or driving the robot. Our current sponsors, and this changes because I think I missed a sponsor that already I heard about that we got another sponsor in. These are our primary sponsors. And I post this out here because, and wanted to show this because we have several family members that are employees at 3M and Medtronic and Thomson Reuters that have been integral in helping us get funding from those organizations. They do a lot of donations to STEM research and STEM teams and STEM programs. And so if you work for an organization, big or small, because I have my wife's company on here, Whip Air, and they have provided space to us in the past, and they also provide, they're a airplane float manufacturing company, and so they've got the tools to manufacture parts. And so they make a few. We do our team builds sample parts in the shop, and then when we get them exactly how we want. We send them to Whip Air, and they build them for us in a much better and lighter tool for us to be able to use in the actual production robot. And so as you look about this, we'll have several conversations with parents asking, can your employer help? And because every dollar we get goes towards something that the kids do. How else can you help as parents? Well, we typically look at 3 different areas. First is time. Chaperones are needed for every single event that we do. There always has to be an adult in the shop. Again, as I said, I am the anti-engineer. And so I have sat in the shop and I have sat there and on my iPad and read a book or done something, just because so there's a parent in the shop to make sure that someone can answer questions if there's a problem. Transportation, things like that. No experience is required for those chaperones. Uh, Things, meals. In a traditional year, we have meals every night in the shop. That's not going to happen this year because of the COVID practices. But snacks, if you're have the ability to buy a couple extra T-shirts to be able to donate to the team for somebody who can't afford a T-shirt. Cleaning supplies. We'll have a whole list of things to add to your Target or Walmart orders when you're making them. And then funds. We are creating a new charity that will be accepting tax deductible contributions. Corporate and private donations are always available. And again, as a reminder to please ask your employer. So the registration process is a little complex because you have to register 3 different ways. And so we've asked our expert, Sue Wentine, to just take a few minutes and explain this crazy process to us.
Okay, so like Jerome said, the registration process is a little convoluted, but it is what it is. So there are 3 separate places that you need to register. Our registration this year will be open from November 1st to November 30th. You have to have all 3 pieces of the registration done by November 30th, or you cannot be a member of the team. It's kind of a hard and fast deadline. So make sure that all 3 steps get finished prior to November 30th. Probably the first and easiest step is registering. We do have to register through the school. So it is now called Smart School K-12. They changed their online thing. So it's going to go live on that system that you'll just go to the East Ridge website like you do for parking passes and, tickets to games and meals and any, sports, all of the things that you pay to District 833 now goes through Smart School. Robotics will be on there starting November 1st. And you just go through like the little checkout thing. There is no fee involved in that step. So like if you're signing up for a sports team, there's a fee attached to it that you have to put in your credit card. Here, the fee will be $0. You just check out, but it's your way to be registered with the school so they know your student is on the team. The second step is signing up with our team, Team 3130. And so the sign up information, there are a number of forms. They'll be emailed out to any student and parent that is on our current email list. So if you are here and you haven't gotten your email out there yet, make sure you do. They'll also be on our website under registration. And there are a number of forms here as well. One is the behavior contract, and that is part of, again, for the school. And again, when we travel, typically we need to let the school know of where we're going and everything too. Well, this year there aren't any events for us to put out there. We're still holding out a little hope that maybe there might be something we can do. So there might be additional forms that you'll hear about later, only if the team is actually participating in an event. But there's the behavior contract that needs to be, each kind of step needs to be initialed, and then students and parents sign on that. There is a donation that the team asks. It's typically been $100. This year we reduced it to $50 just because of COVID. Again, if you're unable to contribute the $50, which is tax deductible, mind you, but if you're unable to contribute it, we do not exclude anybody for not contributing the amount for the team. But again, it costs a lot to run this team. And so that's because you're not paying a fee like you would for a sport through the school, it's paid directly to our team. There's also a t-shirt order form We have new shirts every year because our sponsors change. Typically, we require students to buy a t-shirt because when they're at events, we want everybody on the team to have a shirt. Again, due to COVID and the fact that we probably won't have events, we're not requiring shirts to be ordered this year, although I've seen the design and it's super cute. So you might want to. It's got a little robot with a mask on it. How appropriate is that? So we do have the t-shirt order form. Even if you're not ordering t-shirts, you need to fill out that form because that's where the information and stuff is for students' names, emails, parents' names, emails, stuff like that. And then the $50 contribution kind of goes with that too. If you order t-shirts, you can write one check for t-shirts and your team contribution. It tells you on there exactly who to make checks out to. We need checks, not cash. This year, there is a new form from ISD 833, which is a COVID release form. So you'll have to fill that one out as well. And all of the forms and money will be sent to me, and my address will be on those forms. So you don't have to wonder how to get them to me. Then you have to register through FIRST. This is the last step, and it's actually kind of the most complicated. The FIRST site is a little, there's a lot of steps to it, but I have a really awesome sheet that's actually 2 pages, I think, that will be in the registration material that tells you exactly how to go through the FIRST site. The website is there. If you're new, you have to register you as a parent and you as your child. But it goes through kind of step by step. And I will tell you on that form too, I have FIRST's 800 number. If you have any problems, call them. They will literally walk you through the process. They're really great. So if you have issues with the FIRST website and what to do, and I'm telling you, this was my 8th year of doing it, and every year there's like this little consent thing, and somehow I missed that. So no, there's a consent form there too that you have to kind of check and sign. If you don't do that, FIRST will send you an email saying, well, you're not quite done yet. So know that. But I would say, because there's a lot of steps, if your child is really, really interested and you're sure you want to do this, sign up early so that you make sure that you're getting everything done. My contact information is on this slide. It will also be on all of the forms, so you can send me an email, you can call me, and I will try and answer your questions and help you out so that you can get everything done. But again, the really big thing is, if on November 30th, all 3 steps are not done, you're not on the team. And that Smart School K-12 is only online until November 30th. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what time of day on November 30th it goes off. So don't put that one off until the very end. We actually had a student last year who said, I really wanted to do it, but it's not even on there. I'm like, because it's closed. I can't get it back up for you because I don't do that. Somebody at the school does that. So again, there's kind of a lot, but it's doable. And the directions that you'll get either emailed or on the website walk you through it pretty clearly.
So more to follow on that. Thank you, Sue, for always making that so easy for us to try to follow along.
And something else, my kid is a senior, so when Jerome was putting out there that we need people to do stuff, I was also the meal coordinator, which I'm almost a little sad that I won't have my last year to do that. I've been doing that. This would have been my 7th year. So there are 2 roles that I know are going to be open next year because my youngest is graduating.
Oh,
Thank you, Sue.
Hard to think these things. All right. So a couple of quick things. Visit us online. air3130.org. It's a fabulous new website, so check it out. There's a lot about the team on there. And also, you're invited to join Slack, which is our communication device for during the season. And all of our students are required to be on Slack. Parents are encouraged to be on Slack. There are all sorts of announcements, and there's a room for parents to ask questions to other parents and things like that. I believe all the new students have already been added in, but we'll validate that. And your student can actually invite you to join Slack. So you can just ask them to help you log in, and then one of us will get you approved and all set up. So more, and there'll probably be a session or a conversation just about Slack as it gets closer to the season as well. And so finally, we have 3 parents who were very excited to be able to answer questions. Brian Howard, again, who is shadowing our illustrious leader, Carrie, to help take over for next season. We have Mina Barty, who is our finance lead, and she's responsible for helping to keep all the money straight. And then mentor Matt, who has been with the team, I think, longer than Carrie. And his son is at the U of M as well. And he's here to talk about things as an alumni. And I think Carrie can also always be certain to throw things in as well. So we'd like to turn this over to you, and you can ask questions. And so what I would ask you to do is to put your question into the chat, or you can feel free to talk if you want. But I will, if you put it in the chat, I will relay it to the team. So the first question I want to ask to our parents is, what are you most proud of your student from learning as being a part of the robotics team? And any one of you can start.
Hi, this is Brian Howard. I think for me, watching Maddie kind of jump in and really get absorbed by the team and actually seeing her passion grow over the last couple of years, I was probably more shocked than anybody when she came home and said that Jill Kamen, who graduated last year, who was also on the swim team with my daughter, wanted to take her to a robotics meeting to kind of go check it out. And I was being super excited because I'm like Carrie, I'm not like Jerome, I'm an engineering geek myself. So I'm like, oh, absolutely, that sounds awesome. And lo and behold, she absolutely fell in love with it. And so watching her skills develop over these last couple of years, especially as a young leader, has been really exciting for me to watch.
Mina?
So, okay. Yeah, I would just agree with Brian over there. Ria was also, she's been part of the team now. This is going to be 3rd year, and she really enjoys, and they are such a close-knit group. And Ria has dabbled into everything from build to business to other areas. So, and she's really learned a lot. It's like running a company.
And Ria is probably one of the most involved students at Eastridge that there is, isn't she? How many groups is she a part of?
Oh, in Eastridge, others
Yes.
other than?
Yeah.
She debate, maths team. There's like an environmental club, some other, I can't keep track of it, but there's been a lot. I mean, this year she's not doing swimming, but yeah, she was in swimming as well.
Okay. Matt, are you on the line? Are you the phone on the line?
Yes, I'm the phone line. I'm the build side of this, but I'm having technical difficulties on the other side of this, so I just called in. But parents, there's just so many things I have to say about this. This is the most incredible program that your kids can get involved with. This is will be my 9th year involved in the program. My son and I started it in 2013. He's a degreed engineer out of Minnesota now. We were heavily focused on the engineering side, the build side, but there's so much opportunity on the business side. First is, as somebody said it is a mini company, and your kids will learn so much. I get so excited about seeing these young freshmen come in and be as quiet as mice and leave as loud as lions as their senior year, because they're just this program is so exciting. I tell people, and if you heard me before, you talk about my kids, it's a 5-minute conversation. You talk about my robot, it's a 15 to 20, 30-minute conversation. I am so excited about this program that I just encourage your kids to get involved, and I encourage you to get involved, because it is so invigorating to watch these kids mature. Jerome said it, it's a village, and we all need to get involved. And so I'm just so excited that your kids are involved in this, and this is gonna be an interesting year. We don't know what it's gonna look like, but I just let me tell you that if they get involved and get really into it, they're gonna love it, and hopefully you will as well.
And it's been nice to see Matt's son Ben has come back as a mentor as well, and to see him in the room, you know, who actually lived all of this, helping the kids strategize and solve problems, has been incredibly fun to watch. Carrie, Sue, anything you guys want to add about your kids?
Well, I would say my oldest is about as introverted as you can get. And he learned so many great soft skills, how to talk to people. He taught himself how to code. He's a senior at the U of M now in computer science engineering. Interned with Intel this summer because he found his life's passion on this team, and he learned how to talk to people. He would have people from other teams at events come and talk to him. He can, as Matt can talk about robots, he can talk about coding. And in our house, nobody understood what he was talking about. So he was in heaven at these tournaments, being able to talk to other people and learn those skills that will take him so far in life. And my younger one, again, he's found his passion and already knows as a senior what he wants to major in college because of robotics. That he found his life's passion. And I've always told my kids, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And because of robotics, I'm not sure my kids will ever work a day in their life.
Okay. And so let's talk to the relatively new parents. Or Carrie, anything to add quick?
No, what you'll see, I think, I've seen it virtually every kid I've ever experienced there is the other thing is resilience, right? Again, every year the game changes. What you have to do changes. You start with a blank sheet of paper. You have to build something from nothing to do these tasks. And again, seeing, try and fail, right? I mean, you build something, you thought this thing was going to do this and do that. Well, it didn't, right? So now you go back and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. And the resilience that it builds, and the character, and the just the whole, the team building of, okay, we got to be better. What, that didn't work. What went wrong? Why did it go wrong, right? And being resilient, you just see, again, like Matt and the others have said, you just see people grow and blossom, and it's really amazing.
So for Brian and Mina, since the other mentors have all been so involved with the team for so many years, they've forgotten this. So I'm going to ask you two, what do you wish you would have known as freshman parents when your kids were on the team for the first year that you didn't know yet?
I think the big one for me, honestly, what was truly the time commitment, and Maddie, I think, was there 24/7, even her freshman year starting up. Just understanding that how of a great of an opportunity this is, and it is definitely like a business, to how to participate in that type of stuff. I really had no idea, coming from her being on the swim team, I was like, okay, it's a couple hours a day, maybe nothing on the weekends, and it lasts about 3 months, give or take, and that's about it. And it's really not the case. Again, as Jerome mentioned, it really is up to the student for how much they want to participate. My daughter was definitely on one extreme. So Maddie was there all the time. And I was shocked, didn't really see her hardly for months, it seemed like. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with Brian on that. I think it's up to each kid how much they want to get involved. But I think once they are in the team, everybody is so passionate about what they're doing. And yeah, I didn't know that. I thought robotics teams maybe just building robots. So I wasn't aware of all these different sides and me, like taking photos, building a website, raising funds. And I believe everybody in the team, they learn so much, which I wasn't expecting, like how to raise funds and, how to approach other, how to make a speech. Like they also have a speech. So if your child is interested in speaking, they also have that. So there is there's so many different roles available.
Okay. So I know there's a lot of parents that are worried about academics. And I know that in my 4 years, or this is going into my 5th year in and around the team, I believe there have been 4 or 5 members of the errors that have gotten perfect ACT scores. And so we know that there's a lot of smart kids that usually join in and jump into this group. But how do you manage and handle budgeting of time for academics with kids wanting to be involved with the robots? Who wants to take a stab at that?
Well, I think our original mentor said it best. His motto was always school first, first second. And the kids, we just kind of drilled that into them. And the nice thing, this year will be different, but they would stay after school and go right to robotics, but they do their homework there too. And then they have a built-in study group. Even if somebody's not in their class, there's a upperclassman on the team who had that class or had that teach, and they're like, oh, well, I can help you with that. So I think that was a big thing too. But just as a team, we've always stressed that we know robots is your passion for some of these kids, but it's school first, first, second.
Anyone have anything to add?
No, I would just agree exactly with what Sue said. I know Maddie would stay after school, but she would do her homework first with a group of kids, and then go hit the shop or go write the speech or help put together the presentation, whatever it happens to be for that particular day. So very focused on getting the schoolwork done first, and then going to go have fun on building the robot.
Yeah, and from the academic side, I would also add that this is a group of really bright kids. So it's a good group to hang out with. A lot of good habits get formed here. So if you're wondering if your kids should be involved, they probably should. This is a great, tremendously bright group of kids, and you'd be amazed at what they get done.
So Matt, I'm going to send this question to you. I got a private question here. My child has never touched a hammer or a wrench before. How will they find themselves on the team with not having any of those mechanical aptitudes? And they're very interested in learning some of those skills. So Matt, tell us about some of the kids along the way that you've seen who have come into the shop like that.
Oh, great question. Yeah, we've had the gamut. We've had, and I have to advocate, this is the best hands-on high school program there is for technical skills. We will take anybody, we will teach them how to use whatever they want to learn how to use. We'll make it sure they're safe, and then we'll let them grow, and then let them make mistakes. We don't get good in life by doing things we know how to do. You get good at things like learning something new and failing a couple times. And we encourage that. I think Carrie said it. And so, yes, we have great programs for teaching the kids how to learn how to use the tools that we have in the shop. And then we find that where their skill set is they may not be the hammer guy, they may be the drill guy or the drill girl. and we help them find that in their path going forward. So do not find that as a barrier for entry. We will find a way to let them learn what they want to learn, figure out what they're good at, and we will help them.
Matt,
and there are so many areas of the team that don't require. My oldest had never touched a tool before either, and ended up as the software lead his sophomore year, and was the software lead sophomore, junior, and senior year. And now that's his career path. So you don't have to even learn. I mean, he tried, he did all of that stuff his freshman year, and then, but walking around and checking out and seeing, and that freshman year is kind of hard sometimes. And this year it'll be even trickier. You just kind of walk around and find your niche, and it might not be building the robot. It might be, sponsorship. It might be, we are a student who graduated last year, came in and totally took over our media. Nicknamed himself Media Man. He did all of the photos for the team. He did the website. He did Twitter, Facebook, all of that stuff. He didn't build a whole lot of the robot, but he was integral to the team and moved the team forward a ton because of what he found was his area of expertise. So you don't have to be mechanical with tools. You can either learn that and use them and learn and grow and do that, or you might just find another area of the team and go in a different direction, because this team encompasses every skill you could possibly have.
Thanks for Sue for adding that. I just want to go back to Matt for just one more quick question and clarification. What are the most common tools that the students are going to learn to use when they're in the shop?
Okay, so early on, we're going to do a lot of prototyping and hand drills and hand tools to do what I call breadboard prototyping, proof of concept, figure out if what your thought is going to work, try and make something that looks like it and does it work. Then once we get into the actual build, we're going to move on to the lathe and the mill. Then we are going to actually sit you down and say, okay, here's how you run this mill. Here's how you run this lathe. These are the important things. And you're going to have a shadow behind you when you're doing that when you first start, so that you understand what the safety is first and then how it works. And so that you express any kind of interest in in how you want to grow and learn. We will facilitate that safely and let you figure out what you want to work on.
And from a safety perspective, there's also a couple of machines in the shop that only 1 or 2 students are even authorized to be able to use. Correct, Matt?
That is correct. And that'll be something as you grow on the team. First or second year, you might not touch that right away, but as you prove to the team that you can do it, you can demonstrate to the mentors that you can do it safely, we'll allow you to do that. You're still going to have somebody shadowing you.
Okay, so Mina and Brian, another question back for you about girls on the robotics team. And there are, how have your girls found fitting in? And this has traditionally been a men's world or a man's world, and the errors have been really strong about opening up opportunities to get more female leaders in the shop. So tell us about your perspective on your daughters learning to be engaged in this kind of an industry.
I think for me and for Maddie, and maybe I should let her talk a little bit since she's right here, but honestly, she had a very strong, I would say, guide or mentor, kind of going back to how Jill was, and even Max, and having somebody that she was already familiar with and felt safe with, and kind of bringing her along to the meeting. And then having that environment in general, from what I've seen, the areas of being open, as Matt talked about, being able to explore these different areas. And regardless if you're a boy or a girl, whatever that happens to be, I have not seen anybody say, absolutely, you can't do that. That's not possible. It's more like, no, please come over. Let me kind of show you what's going on. Let's talk through what you're interested in. How can we get better at it? So I think that was the biggest thing for Maddie is just seeing that positive reinforcement that it boy, girl, did not matter whatsoever.
I think another thing to
Sorry, I'm
point
gonna jump in here.
out.
This is,
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Another thing to point out too is like out of our 6 captains this year, 4 of them are girls. So, you know, it's seeing that strong leadership, and it's, you know, girls can totally get involved, and guys, it doesn't matter. You're just there to learn. So, yeah.
Some of our best builders have been girls throughout the years too, which has been really cool to see.
this is Matt again. Our best welder ever was a girl. The patience to weld the aluminum frame was amazing.
Mina, anything to add?
Just what Brian said. I think there's so many girls leader in past and even now. So, and I think it's equal. So they don't feel a girl or a boy, as Maddie was saying. It's equal opportunity to both of them.
I think 4 out of the last 5 captains of the team have been female, correct? Am I right with that, Carrie? I'm this.
Yeah, 3 or 4 or 4 or 5. Yeah.
Yep. So it's, you know, there's a place for everyone. And Tracy asked me to mention that they're planning on having a girls' night in the shop, and maybe a guys' night too, depending if they'll plan it. I think that's a dig at you, Connor. But the girls' night is where they'll come in and the girls get their own access to looking at the machines and the equipment and tools without anybody else peering over their shoulder. So there'll be more of those things coming. And that's all the questions I've seen so far. Anybody else have a question? We're coming up on 8:30. I promised an hour max. Is there anything else from our panelists that you want to mention and let these new parents learn and know what they should know?
Well, I would just say, as far as like the girls' night in the shop, I'm the mom of 2 boys. And for the last 3 years, I've been one of the mentors in the shop for the girls' night in the shop because they knew they could ask me and I would show up. The kids really bond. Both of my kids had just as many friends on the team that were girls as boys, and they are still friends with those people today, because they do act as a whole team and they don't look at you and say, well, you're a girl or you're a boy or whatever. They're a team. And just as a plug for parents, my first year as a parent, I wasn't in the shop a lot. After that, I kind of have lived in the shop. And because I'm a teacher, I was always the one in the summer who spent my summers in the shop for the summer project because I could. So I would just say, get involved, hang out at the shop. The best thing for me being that involved with the team and being able to hang out at the shop is I knew all of my kids as friends. And when they were going out and going to somebody's house and doing something, not only did I know the kids, I knew the parents and I knew what they were doing. And it's a great group of kids that are on this team. And I've just always felt like my kids made great friends and they're kids that make great decisions.
Any other last comments from anybody?
I will say it's just really cool to watch how the team takes a challenge. They literally go from nothing. And it is exactly like a startup business. They're given a challenge. They've got, only a few weeks to put together a design and a pitch essentially on how to build this robot and then go forward to tackle both robot challenges and awards challenges, as well as get money for the company and that type of stuff. It is really amazing to watch how these students tackle these challenges, and it prepares, I can't express enough how much it actually prepares them for the real world. So it is a really neat experience.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks, everybody. If you're new to the team, stay with us. Check us out. It's going to be a little bit of a different year, but I think you'll find it very rewarding.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining. And this recording will also be available. We'll put it up on our YouTube site. And so if you want to go back and look at anything, the presentation will be sent out as well. And we hope to see your child. We hope to see you We hope to see all of our returning veteran team members and parents in the shop, hopefully sometime really soon. Thanks again, and appreciate your time and your interest in the airs.
And registration opens on Sunday.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.